Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
So I now want to move on. We've talked about the players that did make the NFL roster, but what about the former Arizona Wildcats that did not make the roster? There were a handful of them. I'll run you through the list. Khalil Tate was cut by the Eagles during camp as an undrafted free agent. Jace Whitaker was assigned to the Arizona Cardinals practice squad. Sean Poindexter was cut by the 49ers during camp. PJ Johnson was waived by Seattle. Nick Folk was named to the Patriots practice squad. And Reggie Gilbert was waived by the Titans just most recently when they acquired Jadeveon Clowney. So, I mean, Ryan, among that group, who do you expect to kind of find a new team, or at least make a roster maybe somewhere else, or find a home on a practice squad somewhere?
The guy who has the most talent, as you know, is Khalil Tate, and it all starts with Khalil Tate in his mind and where he wants to take his football career. Because originally, when he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Eagles, they listed him as a wide receiver, not as a quarterback. So it's gonna begin with him just figuring out if he wants to stay with wide receiver or go back to his old roots and try to develop as a quarterback, because guys like Lamar and Kyler Murray have shown that you don't have to be the biggest or strongest guy to be a great quarterback in today's NFL.
I actually had two picks for this one. I'll start with Sean Poindexter. I mean, he was another one of those dudes that I really liked at Arizona. He definitely has that big body receiver kind of build to him, very tall. But I mean, he's just another dude that I think kind of just got lost in the mix just because of a little bit of bad luck, right? He signed with the Niners last season and then tore his ACL in camp, and that I think that really kind of just set him back just from there. I mean, it was really unfortunate to see because this year they kept Poindexter all the way through camp, and then on the very last day of cuts, they cut him and then didn't bring him back to the practice squad at least. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a really unfortunate situation for him, but I think he still has enough skill to find his way into the team. And I mean, you have to go and have your way. Like when you're an undrafted free agent, like everything has to go your way. You can't have any sort of injuries. You can't have any setbacks because you're on your back foot from the beginning, right? The odds are stacked against you. So I think he was just a product of bad luck, and I think he still has some skill. I think we'll find a team somewhere.
Yeah, he has a ton of upside, being 6'5", as you said, can catch in coverage, and I'm very surprised actually that the 49ers cut him, because the 49ers needed a lot of help at the wide receiver position with all their guys, Deebo Samuel being banged up, their rookie they drafted, a lot of guys they're just hurt. So I think if he gets on the right team, I think he can make an impact in this league.
Yeah, I think we'll find a team. He has the heart for it as well, and he has the skill set. So I definitely expect him to find another team somewhere. Also wanted to talk about Nick Folk real fast. I mean, I think this dude. I was honestly surprised to see that he didn't make the roster as well. The Patriots ended up going with that rookie kicker from Marshall, Justin Rohrrusher, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Rohrrusher, I think. But they ended up going with him and keeping Folk on the practice squad. And I mean, I don't know. I just don't think Nick Folk is just not like one of those dudes just to go away, right? I feel like he always lingers around the league, and he's quickly turned into a journeyman, right? So he's a pretty reliable kicker. I mean, he's not like one of those dudes that is banging 50-yard field goals, but he's super reliable. Anything under 45 yards.
He's been in the league for so many years. I mean, you just always expect him to have a job. He's just one of those guys. I mean, yeah, he's a great veteran kicker.
Yeah, I think
at the top level, but he's right below that.
I think he's going to be. I think he's at the top of the list in terms of the GMs. If your kicker goes down with an injury, or even COVID, or just their kicker sucks, I think Nick Folk's going to be the first name on that list. So I don't think we've seen the last of Nick Folk.
Yeah, another guy that I was surprised who didn't make the team is Jace Whitaker. He last season on the defensive side of the football, he was one of the bright spots in that defense. He was always making plays. That guy is very talented. I believe that he's going to end up on a roster making an impact.
Yeah, I think Jace was a product of just another product of bad luck in terms of just the Arizona was just so thin at the secondary position last year. I think we had him bouncing around from corner to to stud to safety. He was moving around a lot. I think he's a really good corner, and I think if somebody wants to mold him into a corner, I think that's where he's really going to shine. But I just don't think he has enough clips and enough reps at corner just because we've moved him around everywhere. So I think that's probably the reason why teams were a little hesitant to pull the trigger on him. But I do really like Jace Whitaker.
Yeah, the theme stays the same with a lot of these guys. It's all about right opportunity, right place, and if they get their chance, they might shine.
Yeah, I also really like PJ Johnson as well. I mean, he was only at Arizona for 1 year. He transferred from, I believe, Sacramento State. I should have fact checked that before the show, but he transferred from some school in the Northern California region, and he was only there for a year. But I mean, he was a really important piece to that Arizona defense. I mean, he's kind of been bouncing around. I don't think he's ever found his way on a team, so I'm not quite sure what his problem is. I know I saw on Hard Knocks actually that they wanted him to lose weight. So I don't know if there's maybe just some other stuff that we don't know about that just is having him have issues making a team. But I do like Peter Johnson. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good role player for any team.
Yeah, he's pretty much just a journeyman at this point. I mean, yeah, he could find his way if people get injured, but he's tried with like 3 teams, I believe now, and he did have his best season with Arizona, having 31 tackles, 3 sacks. He was really good here, being an honor roll Pac-12 mention that year.
Yeah, he was definitely one of those underrated dudes when he came in. I think nobody was really talking about him when he came in, but as soon as he got here, he was like, this dude is like the rock to our defensive line, So I don't know. I think I'm like again I said, I don't know exactly why he hasn't really made a roster, if there's just more to it that we don't know about, but I don't know. We'll see. That's actually going to do it for our show today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as usual.